Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. All right, everybody, we are here. We are joined, second guest today. I got to talk to a referee. Very interesting stories. But now we have Caden Young, and you are out of Shawano, right?
Shawano, yep.
Nice. So typically, usually I start with the all eyes on me, but I was kind of doing a little different with you today. Kind of started out with a little guitar riff music at the beginning of this one. I don't know. It just felt like it was you. But so Shawano, right? Did you grow up in Shawano?
Nope. So actually, I still live in Clintonville.
Okay,
but
I knew that. I mean, I
transferred to Shawano. Yeah.
I remember talking to your dad a little bit. When you were younger, trying to figure out exactly what you guys want to do. But so you're comfortable there. I take it. You're having a good time. You guys, you did really well. Runner up this year, man.
Yep. Shawano's good.
Yeah.
Been there since sophomore year.
Okay.
But it worked out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So I understand, goals are set that, you want to meet and things like that. And they don't always go, they didn't go Liam's way either. Sometimes you wind up getting the next best thing. And I think that's, whatever it is. But let's talk about where you started. I mean, how young were you when you started wrestling?
So I think I started wrestling around like third grade.
Okay.
So which honestly, it seems like late for what I'm hearing for the other guests. They're starting at like age 3.
Yeah.
But yeah. So my dad just wanted, so I didn't get burnt out. I just like really was begging to wrestle for like my whole life. And he finally, third grade, he let me. And then it's kind of just been history from there.
So let's break into that a little bit though, because I remember talking to your dad quite a bit, and he's a coach. He knows about athletics, and he's a teacher, so he kind of knows kids a little bit too, and he's seen some things coming down the road. But was your dad in wrestling?
Yep, my dad wrestled middle school, high school, and then he was a starter for a few years at UW Oshkosh.
Okay.
For the wrestling team, yeah, at heavyweight.
So he's got a perspective.
So
yeah,
and then he has been coaching probably for like 20 years. I don't know. He's old.
Yeah. We are old, man. But talking to him a little bit, he has perspective. I think he had kind of a reality of what you could do, or what your possibilities were, and you didn't need to start you super early. Some of these guys, you listen to some of these national champs, some of those guys didn't start till like maybe 8th grade, freshman year. Some of those guys started late. Yeah, it's third grade's fine. So when you started out, what was your idea of wrestling? Like when you got into the room, you wanted to do it, but then you got in there, and what were your thoughts about wrestling as soon as you got your hands on it?
We're going a long time back, but I think I really liked it. But like that first year,
yeah,
it's like crazy.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correct, it was just a lot of tears from me and everyone else. I didn't wrestle in that. My first year, I probably wrestled like 1 or 2 tournaments because they just wanted me to just practice, make sure that I liked it. So
yeah,
student to youth practices like a couple times a week. And then eventually like 4th grade and on, I started getting into it more.
So did you guys, when you started out, did you just start at like kind of a local area club, or were you guys going to aviators right away? How did that kind of work out?
We just started at just the local Clintonville Youth Wrestling.
Truckers, man.
And then honestly, go Truckers.
Yeah.
And then it took a few years before like I just wanted to start doing club and take it more seriously. But I don't honestly think that's a bad thing to just wait, learn some fundamentals before you start going all in.
For sure.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys learned that kind of along the way though, too, as far as just, you realized all of a sudden you saw what you had to put into it kind of thing, probably middle school area, because you wanted to accomplish something. You want, youth state championships, whatever it is, you guys had a goal that you wanted to, compete well, compete hard. So when did you have fun? Was it a fun group and you realized that you really started to really like wrestling? And then your dad said, hey, we should take you there. Or did you hear from it like a friend and be like, hey, I want to go here because so-and-so is going here?
So it started out with so I started getting into wrestling. I started getting better,
Yeah.
And then at first it was like, I'm trying to beat teammates at this point. Yeah. And then I get better than them. And then I had this one friend who started at Fox Valley Elite.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I am never going to a club ever. I'm just going to get good, not going to clubs.
Yeah.
And then 1 year later, he quit the club and I joined. So I started out at Fox Valley Elite, probably around fifth grade. Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. And, right now I know Liam's, practices with the Lees and stuff like that. And he's definitely a good place to get some resources as far as getting good wrestling. And especially with the competition that those guys went through, national tournaments that they won. So not a bad place to start at all. So as your youth wrestling career started to kind of fire off, what were some of the more memorable moments that you have from youth and the things that you were able to either accomplish and get done as a youth guy? What was the biggest moments you remember?
So if we start way back, probably that fourth grade year.
Yeah.
I went to the Port Regional and I took second and I made it. And that was so hype. Good, chunky 100-pound Caden making youth state.
Yeah.
So then that's pretty much what kicked it all off. Okay. And then I made youth state a few more times. And then what really kicked it off was I went to what was that? Probably fifth grade year. I took third at youth freestyle, and that's when I was just all in. I was really hooked on wrestling. When you start winning more,
yeah,
it just really got me excited for it.
Yeah. So those little moments are kind of little boosters for you to kind of keep your momentum going into the wrestling, I guess, just in general. So do you have a favorite style? What's your favorite style?
Dude, favorite style is Greco. It's 100% Greco.
You listen to Lucas because he just said Greco. Not many kids are saying that on the show. So that's awesome, though. I mean, Liam's going to train it. He's always going to work out and doing stuff he doesn't want to compete in it much anymore. But so when did you first get introduced to Greco?
Started Fox Valley Elite. I just went to some Greco only stuff, and I was wrestling with the Hammonds, Verhagens, and all of them, and all in this like little Fox Valley Elite room.
Yeah.
Training Greco at like age in like 5th grade, and that's what started out.
Nice.
But then, honestly, then I kind of put Greco in like the rear view because I took 3rd at freestyle. So, you know, it's whatever I did better and was really my favorite thing.
You gravitated towards. Okay.
Now it is Greco.
Okay. You're a favoritism guy. Okay. I get it. That's fine. So when you started to compete and kind of getting your feet wet, as far as, did you guys wind up getting to any national tournaments? Did your dad ever take you like preseason nationals, things like that?
So like, yeah, we went, I don't know if Liam went, but back when they used to have like Greco and freestyle nationals in like the Dells, we hit that a few times, you know?
That's right. Yes. Yep.
And then, so then they had that a few times. I went to it. I mean, I placed, but I mean, it wasn't that big because it was just like novice 112 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just like kept dragging me into the sport.
Yeah.
So I hit a few times. I went to preseason 1 year and just got absolutely smoked. I'm like, oh my good Lord. It's like my first year of like 7th, 8th grade. And I went like 2-2 wrestling some men.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this sport? What is going on?
How much did you weigh on when you went down to those?
Dude, probably like 120s, 130s.
Ooh, yeah.
But like when you're in 6th, 7th grade and you're not cutting any weight and pulling up, it's
tough.
It's see tough. Some monsters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And that was the biggest thing too. Like we knew no matter whatever competition we went to, we always wrestled up, because especially when you guys are young, it was just, you don't want to cut a ton of weight, cut a little bit, pound or two, not a big deal, but we weren't doing the 10 pounds to be competitive. Liam would get smoked too. I mean, as soon as I remember we moved here, It was a seventh grade, just before seventh grade year, we had to check into school, and I was that sixth grade after he was done. It was just, I think it was just before COVID. We're going to have him wrestle 9,500 pounds, right? At state and at regionals. We got him weighed in at school. He's 125. I was like, okay, we're in real boy land now. So I didn't even tell him. I signed him up for a 15U tournament. He was 12 at 125 pounds. Got smoked. I didn't take him there to win.
Oh,
I didn't take him there to win.
It's 100%.
Yeah, no, man.
It's just at that age.
Yeah.
Everyone is at just a different level of maturity. And
totally.
I was never the one that was huge and had a mustache in sixth grade. So yeah. I did get my butt handed to me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So as you kind of, now that you got a little bit of that exposure, and like you said, those nationals were in Wisconsin, you got to see some different faces in the international styles. And that was an advantage for us. Thank God it was here, because I mean that what got Liam qualified for going down to Ohio and stuff like that. We didn't have to travel to Vegas like we do this year.
Yeah.
Once you get your feet wet, were you noticing, as you closer to high school, getting into eighth grade freshman year, did you kind of maybe notice yourself getting, a little better, and you're like, oh man, like then because your sights are on high school now, you're seventh, eighth grade, your sights are on high school, getting even bigger. Competition's going to be a little stiffer going in your freshman year. How'd your freshman year go?
Freshman year was pretty crazy. So it was like, I was like, Clintonville has a small team.
Yep.
They barely have a team now. And at the time we thought we had a good eighth grade class coming up. Like I was coming off like a second at U State. So I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Took second at Greco State that year as like an eighth grader. But then we could pull up to our team and we have no team. We have like 5 kids. Oof. And I'm just like, oh my Lord. My dad is the head coach. But so we hit a lot of teams. It was pretty solid. I went like 40-0 going into sectionals.
Yeah.
So then I was really excited. Pull up the sectionals, go 1-2. I mean, I ended up taking my first loss was to Bender Osher. Tech me 17-0. I was just, and that stumped me.
Yeah.
I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into?
So I obviously we know DeRocher as well, as far as them being in the area. So I think the biggest thing that I think comes along with a lot of these transitions that you guys have is the mental side of it. I mean, you guys are growing how you grow. You can do, curtail things by lifting, doing things like that, but just on the mental side. So you're getting blown out 17-0, right? You had a 40-0 season. What do you think, doing the math in your head, you're like, where did that happen? What the hell happened? Like, how do you come out of that mentally? Is your dad a big proponent of making sure mentally you don't let this bother you? This is good. Like, how does that support system, and how did your mind get through that?
Well, it was just, honestly, looking back at it, I handled it horribly.
Yeah.
I just like stepped out there and, I thought I'd do better. I set high standards for myself.
Yeah.
And getting like 17-0 teched as a 40-0 freshman, it just like, it hit me at the wrong time. So I took it horribly.
Okay.
Went into my next match against someone who I should have beat. And then he beat me and I was out just like that. And
yeah. So
brutal.
So with that season, going into sophomore year, do you find yourself putting in a little extra work then? And, maybe kind of, I don't think kids need to necessarily sit down and like dial in what they think their state bracket's going to be, but obviously, what you ran into the year before. So how do you prepare yourself then going through the season, your sophomore year? Your goals are still the same, but now, with some of the things that got, that tripped you up a little bit, what's your thought process going through that next season and just kind of getting ready for that? Because you're probably going to be strong, doing well, as far as in the regular season, but come tournament time. So what do you do during the regular season, kind of get yourself prepped for that?
Just like going into the regular season at this time after my freshman year is like my first year being like full-time all wrestling.
Yep.
Like I used to be really big into football, but now I'm full wrestling. But then sophomore year, I made the decision that I'm going to get better. So I transferred away from my hometown, went to Shawano, which is like 25 minutes away.
Yep.
Completely foreign thing in the middle of the COVID thing. So it was another like crazy year, crazy change. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about football a little bit. What made you choose wrestling? Because there are a lot of football players that wrestle, and some of them don't. But what made you choose wrestling over football?
Honestly, I was pretty good at both going into 8th grade year.
Yeah.
I was a pretty athletic kid. But then honestly, I just liked wrestling more. Something about it. Just me and my dad have a close bond through wrestling, and you said, Caden, if you quit football, I will bring you to more national tournaments. So that was the deciding factor.
Nice.
So I said, I'm not doing football anymore. Yeah. All wrestling. Yeah.
So you had that mindset in your sophomore year, kind of going through, and I'm pretty sure that your sophomore year, just regular season, was pretty strong. So conferences coming up, and then regionals and sectionals. So what is your mindset at with that regular season? What was your record regular season? Do you remember your sophomore year?
Well, regular season was COVID with masks, and I got sick pretty bad.
Oh,
and I was hurt, so I went So it was a rough time, rough transition as well, going into like a new school.
Yeah.
Middle of high school.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard. I thought it'd be easier. So I'm in this new environment. Everything's online still. So I don't know any of these people, and I'm wrestling with them.
Yeah.
But I mean, it worked out now, but 2 years ago, that was pretty rough. But I went going into sectionals 12-1 or something.
Okay.
Pretty solid.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously with the season being weird with COVID and everything like that, your numbers were kind of smaller as far as competition wise, but so 12-1, solid, it's a good season so far as what the, WIA hands you. What is the post? I don't even remember, because I know Liam was in middle school, but I remember talking to some of these guys, some of that COVID year just kind of blew by, because it's just so crazy with the, online learning, like you said, and all this other stuff, wearing masks. And so how was that postseason for you as far as just starting out with conference? Was that different too? Where did you guys wind up going?
So for our conference, we don't have a conference tournament. So just our last duel decides it. And if you go undefeated, which we did. So Shawano this year, we had the God Squad. We had all of our people. We had so many seniors that turned out good. I transferred in. And then if you know who Damian Woodkey is,
of course,
he had his best year.
Yeah.
Yep. He transferred in. So then that was all of our team. So we have this great squad, but we're only wrestling duels, which is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
We win regionals, taking out Bayport. I win the regional title. And then this is when they changed and they went to super regionals. Yeah. And then we went up north and got out of the Kakana one. So then we were in with Everest, Wausau schools and stuff like that. So I'm just seeing all these people I've never saw before.
Yeah, because Bayport, I believe, is in ours, I think now.
Yeah, it was they changed everything.
Yeah.
A few weeks before regionals were supposed to be. And that kind of just threw a interesting wrench into the lovely place. But
yeah,
I ended up losing. I think I lost to Freddie Lurkey in the semis.
Ooh, Lurkey.
And then and then I lost to Willowette in the wrestleback. I got hurt in that, so I had to default out.
Don't ever mention that name to me again.
No, me and him we're arch rivals, man.
Really?
We've wrestled so many times, it's crazy.
Because that's who Liam won up against quarterfinals, that ultimate tiebreaker.
Oh,
match.
I saw that match. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So when you saw that COVID, so the crazy setup of the season, the end of the season, I believe State was in Kakana, I believe. I can't remember how they had it.
Yep, State was in Kakana. Yeah, so for one day.
How was that? I went and watched a little bit. I didn't get to see everybody, but we watched a little bit. How was that going into Kakana at State? How did that work out for you guys as far as just a team? Couple of guys made it. Was it just you? How many guys made it to State with you guys?
So I didn't even make it that year.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. Anybody from your team did?
Sophomore year, I didn't make it. We sent 4. So it was our best year of all time. We sent 4.
Okay. 3
of them placed. All of our seniors placed. But that one bothered me because I thought I should be there. I'm beating these dudes in the practice room.
Yeah.
So it adds a little bit more burn to it. Yeah. But they ended up all doing good.
Yeah.
A few places down there. So it was a good year for Shawano, but for me, not my greatest year.
Are you one of those? And I know a lot of guys are, but I mean, were you at that point? You hear like Tom and Terry Brands, they didn't want to practice with guys in the national or the world team or whatever because they thought they'd hurt them or something like that. Obviously you're not going to hurt your teammates, but are you a team where you had guys coming in to help these guys out to get ready for State? And are you in that frame of mind with your teammates as far as I want to help these guys. If I'm not doing it, I want to help this guy do it. If that kind of thing, is that kind of the same sentiment that you have? Maybe your dad instilled that kind of thing in you?
Yeah, that's what it's like in Shawano. Once it's like past regionals and then into sectionals, it's all about the people that made it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't sour feeling still, but he's my practice partner.
Totally.
So
yeah.
Of course I'm gonna get him ready.
Okay.
But it was pretty. That one pretty hurt the soul. That one hurt the soul a lot.
I'm sure.
Not making it that sophomore year.
Do some reflection, thinking about some stuff. So with that being said, though, did you ever have a moment where you maybe decided, I don't know if I want to wrestle anymore, man? Did you ever think that, even with like maybe the big downs that you felt or anything like that? Was that ever a thought in your mind?
It was never really a thought in my mind.
Good.
Of course, like you probably said something like that, and it's been like, God, I just don't want to do this. But
yeah. And
then the next day you go and practice, and it's back to normal. But I never wanted to quit wrestling. It's just it's a cruel mistress.
It is. Well, that's exactly it. Cruel mistress is exactly right. So now rolling into your junior year, we'll push sophomore year to the side. That one's ugly. So you have now, I would say, two really big motivators going into junior year, right? As far as trying to figure out what you want to accomplish again. It's top of the podium, but now a little bit of backlog of thinking about what happened. Do you put yourself through a different pace? Does the training change for you? Do you think that you need to change anything up as far as how you're wrestling or anything like that? Was any of that part of your process at all going into junior year?
So that going into junior year, I had quite the crazy off season. So that like sophomore summer. So I ended up taking 5th at Greco State.
Okay.
Which was okay.
Yeah.
And then I took 2nd at Northern Plains, which was pretty good for me. I was pretty hyped about that.
Yeah.
And then I came into Fargo, and then I pulled like the 4th seed. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
And then I ended up winning all my way to the finals. So I made the Fargo finals that sophomore year.
Yeah.
As like 16-year-old. And that was like a huge motivator to me. Like I didn't even bring 2 sets of warm-up clothes because I thought I was gonna be done the first day.
Yeah. Doing laundry, baby.
So I'm doing laundry that I don't even know what day that is at Fargo.
Yeah.
And I'm in the finals now. Like this random kid from Wisconsin who took 5th at his own state tournament is now in the finals. And so that was just crazy to me. I had a huge off season with that.
Yeah. Well, that's
coming
big booster. Yeah.
Yeah. Really motivated me into junior year.
Okay. So Fargo went well. I mean, that's kind of like the cap of your off season really is Fargo. Unless you do like, preseason nationals or whatever again going into, did you wind up doing preseason nationals going into your junior year?
No, I haven't honestly my whole high school career hit that many preseason tournaments. It's just it's usually where I just train a lot.
Okay.
That's about it.
Totally cool. And like right now, I mean, especially after Liam's first year he asked us after I think state was done. He's like, I don't have anything after team state, do I? He was tired. I mean, you guys, it takes a lot of work.
It's brutal.
Yeah. It's a 5-week grind. And then on top of that, you add Fargo. I mean, stuff like that, US Opens or whatever else that are big ones. You kind of look at the other ones like, do I need to? I don't need to. Just got to train. So you got Fargo done. Did really well, and then going into high school doing folk style, what was that like for you going into the first portion of the season?
It was pretty good. I started out really strong, winning a lot of my tournaments, and then going into Christmas, another thing strikes. So I'm wrestling. We're going to this Christmas tournament. I'm sick. I was debating whether I should even go to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm wrestling this one kid. I'm winning like 10-0.
Yeah.
And then he literally snaps my arm. So I sprained my UCL. So then I forfeit out of the tournament.
Yep.
I'm just like, what did just happen?
Yeah.
Go to the doctor. So now I'm stuck I can barely move my arm now, and I'm in an elbow brace for the wrestling season.
I remember seeing that.
So yep. Last year I was in my brace.
Yep.
And it was that one. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So how long did that take?
That took the whole season. That took the whole rest of the year.
Oh no. Yeah.
I took a little time off.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm just like, it's my junior. I'm going. This is my sport. So
yeah,
we just put the brace on, but it did pull did make things a lot harder.
Sure. So it took all the injury was all season, but obviously you weren't able to compete, right? That wasn't like you could wear a brace and compete, was it?
No, I just had like a huge brace on my arm while I wrestled.
No kidding. Okay. Hey, high five, dude. I mean, that takes balls. I mean, Liam broke his hand. I mean, it's a different, but not completely different, but I mean, going out with a wrap on and then plus on top of that, the brace that's on that and still being mobile and wrestling. I mean, that takes balls. It's not easy to walk out. I mean, guys want to be tough and they want to be like, oh, I'm going out and doing whatever. It hurts, man. Like it's not fun unless you've been, you got strength in that area that can kind of give you support, but pain's pain. So how did you deal with that?
It was honestly, that was like a big mental thing as well. It's just, I was going really good into it.
Yeah.
And then I get hurt. So now I'm in this huge brace and I have like no mobility in it now.
Yeah.
So I went to on the water.
Oh yeah.
And then first time in the brace and I kind of took like 6, medically forfeited out.
Sure.
And I ended up just wrestling duels for our team for the whole rest until the off season.
Yeah.
To like regionals. So I just wrestled. So like going into regionals after Christmas, I had like maybe 2 matches because most people just forfeited to me. So it was quite interesting. Yeah.
Suck. So now you got postseason coming up. What was your healing factor kind of on the up end when you got to the postseason, or was your elbow still kind of being worked a little bit where you didn't really know how it was going to go, or did you feel strong going into the postseason?
Going to the postseason, I honestly, it just never was able to heal because I was just still training.
Yeah.
And still wrestling. So
yeah,
it was about, it got better slowly, but
yeah,
it would get better and then someone would twist it. And when you have a huge brace on your arm,
it
is quite the target. Yes, it sticks out.
Yep. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you, if I got a guy that's on the mat that's wrestling Liam and he's got something on his hand, I'm telling Liam, get hand control in that hand. I mean, you're not there to break it.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, you're not there to break it or hurt him more, but just kind of open up a position a little more. That's all. Just you gotta. But yeah, it sucks. And then guys are pulling on it, and then the healing time kind of shrinks a little bit. So what was what were some of the highlights or anything as far as going into sectionals and stuff like that? How did that feel for you going into that? Were you ready?
I was ready to just get back into it. So then I did. I won regionals pretty handedly.
Okay.
I walked through sectionals pretty handedly.
Yeah.
And then I got the state. So that was my first time ever making the state, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a crazy experience when you've never been there before.
Yep.
And I've been so close my 2 previous years.
Yeah.
But then then that's when they added like the whole new seating criteria.
Oh.
And I sat out like my whole second half of the season.
Yeah.
So then here I am. And I have a pretty solid record. I had like 2 losses going into the state tournament.
Yeah.
And then I have like the 9 and I pull Mulvaney second round. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh no. Old man Mulvaney, man. What do you do? So how'd that match go? How did that match go with him?
I was losing pretty big, and then I tossed him to his back.
Oh.
And then it was a nice toss, caught him on his back.
Yeah.
Of course, right on the end line. So I got my 5 count, but
yep.
That made the match look super close, and then I kind of stopped, but
sure,
I lost the match. But
what do you do against?
It's pretty cool to toss.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to do that.
Yep.
And then I ended up wrestling back. I lost in the blood rounds.
Sure.
But I was just happy to make it there at that point. I was at the end of state. I was bruised up.
Yeah.
It's like I wasn't cutting that much weight, so it's way bigger than I'm probably supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's cool.
But I was just happy to make it there.
Yeah. You got there, man. And that, to me, like I always tell, like even some of these little guys, like everything that they're doing right now is practice. Getting to state, that's a big deal. And just getting there is a big deal. You still have to get through guys. It doesn't matter. Plus adversity. You're dealing with adversity on, number 1. Then you got to get through there, and even if it was handily, you still had to put the work in to make that handily work. You know what I'm saying? So you put a lot of work in it, and you finally got the state. Didn't pan out the way you wanted to, but now you got the next, kind of off season coming up to kind of get ready. Were you Fargo again? Were you getting ready for Fargo?
So at this point, it was just like after season, I took some time, took like a month off to heal my elbow. This is like probably I'm like full aspirin now.
Yep.
I kind of weaned away from the aviators. So probably I'm going in. This is like my first year of like full aspirin.
Yeah.
And then I'm just training pretty much for Greco, even though I'm training freestyle at aspirin. But so I'm just training for freestyle Greco state and stuff like that.
Yeah.
After that, that's like my motivation.
So that was, so with the injury, were there just talks about maybe even not trying to do Fargo, just kind of laying off it just because it's so intense that could maybe refire up an injury? Is that what you guys are thinking? Or was it just, you're just thinking about state at the moment?
Honestly, it was just like Greco state. They just said, if you let it heal for like a month, you should be fine. It was
okay,
because it was just a nice sprain. Okay. But if you're never letting that injury heal,
it's gonna keep coming.
It's never gonna get better. Yeah. So took my month off.
Okay.
Got back into wrestling.
Yeah.
And that was pretty.
How'd state go for you?
I won Greco state for the first time.
Nice.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Felt pretty good going in, but then of course more things have to happen, dude.
What happened?
We're going in and I'm training with like Brett Back and stuff. That's been my partner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how he got hurt, of course.
Yep.
And I'm getting ready for junior duels because I made the dual team.
Yep.
And I go in and my belly button's hurting. So I'm like, okay, we'll just run the doctor.
Did you have a hernia?
And then all of a sudden, I had a hernia.
Oh.
And they're like, okay, whoa, you have a hernia. We're getting I go in Tuesday. They're like, okay, we're getting surgery. Thursday.
Yes. Those are big, especially in that area. That's a big area because I had one myself. So yeah, when they see that and you'd been hurting for a couple, like if it was a couple weeks, they're gonna tell you we need you.
Oh, it was like
what?
Yeah, it was a while. It was just like, but I was like, I don't know, it just burns. Whatever.
Same thing. So all I was doing, I was at work. I was lifting. I was like a heavy tote of shampoo or something like that, but I picked it up and I burst it. Well, I was just putting my belt around it to hold it. I was holding my intestines in with my belt just keeping them from dropping down. When I went to the doctor, it was like when you went in, they said, hey, we need you in like tomorrow because your hernia has opened up enough where things can go down where they shouldn't go and you can die. You know, there's certain things that can happen. They're not healthy.
Yeah, so that happened, but mine was like legit, like in my belly button. So it was hard to know.
Oh, cow.
But I'm just like, I don't know. It just burns. So I'll just continue to wrestle, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, my belly button hurts. So I'm like, that's weird. So then all of a sudden, like 3 days later, I'm getting surgery. And then that took a long time. That was like 6 weeks of just sitting down.
That's crazy.
Which is brutal.
So it's even funnier though too, is that because of the sport you're in the amount of core that it takes, and that was a belly button rupture. Like that's crazy that didn't like open up way more because of how much pressure you're putting in that area down in your gut and stuff, and just just trying to lift the guy, especially in Greco. So that's amazing that didn't like wind up way worse than when it was because you just felt a little burning, So that's good. So
definitely.
A bummer for the season, but going into what part of the season was that in? When did that happen?
So that was like probably right after Greco.
Okay.
Greco State. So that was actually after the US Open. So I went to the Open as well that year.
Okay, so the Open was first and then State is second, right? So that was like just before State, I think.
So Open, State, and then I had my injury, but then junior duels were coming up.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I ever made the dual team. So that was quite.
Yeah.
So then I had to sit that out because it was like had surgery probably like 3 weeks before. And then they said the recovery time would be faster than, I mean, of course, everyone heals different.
Sure. Yeah.
But they said it would be like pretty fast because I'm young and in good shape. Yep. But then it took like, I came back, I'm like, dude, it's not ready. So it took like 6 weeks.
Turns out you're old and not healthy.
Pretty much. I'm 6 weeks of just like literally the first 3 weeks was just me laying down.
Yeah.
That's it in the summer. That's been a good, just holding a pillow because it hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, yeah, it's not good.
No.
Missed world team trials as well, which I was excited to go to.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, Fargo's in a month and I'm just back now.
Oh,
so
yeah. So leading into Fargo, I mean, obviously we know what you kind of did with the dual team, but going into Fargo, were you able to kind of get in a good week or two or something of practices? How did training go for you?
I tried. It went okay, but coming off like 6 weeks of a break, I was just like wasn't in shape. No lifting. I had a nice little belly on me, but in Fargo on paper, because of my last year result, I had a great season. So I had the 2C going into Fargo.
Oh, nice.
Which is a big deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, I went still because I'm not going to miss Fargo. It's like my thing.
Just screw
Love
that.
Greco. But ended up losing in like the round of 16. I'm wrestling back. I beat some good dudes. I don't know if you know who Jed Wester is.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, I heard of. Yep.
He's pretty good.
Yep.
Be like a returning Fargo champ. And now I'm in the blood rounds. And I'm wrestling the dude I beat in the Greco state finals. And he beats me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
So how are, as far as the losses like that, how are you? Cause you took the one pretty hard that you talked about a while back. Things like this now, because you were hurt and you're just, to me, my expectations of myself would just be like, hey, let's just do this. Now, I'm not thinking, to me, if I'm coming off an injury like that, I'm not thinking first place. I'm not thinking that type of thing. Now I'm going to go out there and wrestle that way, but in my brain, I'm probably like, hey, if this happens, I'm cool with it. How is your mental at this point now, coming into a senior, being a senior in high school, things like that? How's your mental handling things like that,
So senior year, I'm just going, and I've said it since day one of freshman year, I'm trying to be a state champ.
Yep.
And senior year, I finally healed up everything, took my time, been wrestling at Askren.
Yep.
With some good dudes in there, scrapping like every single day. I'm at Askren.
Yep.
So senior year, I'm trying to win that state title.
Yeah. Yeah. So we know where you got. So let's talk about how you got there. So was it another undefeated season? Just a regular season? Was that undefeated for you?
This season was a little different than most. Going in, pretty good season. Well, it was a really good season, just like regular season. But I took some losses that bothered me. I lost to Willowette in OT.
Yep.
And that was a big shame because I'd beaten them previously, and we kind of go back and forth.
Yep.
I lost to him in OT, and then I keep going on the water. I lose to Torin Vandenbush, if you know who that is.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
On the end of the first day, so that was pretty brutal because that was an OT as well.
Yeah.
And that one just made me mad. So then I wrestled back. I have probably one of my best matches. I beat Ben Otto when I'm down. Ooh. I get like, he was good.
Oh, yeah.
And especially going in, he was like top 2.
Yeah.
Wrestling Ben Otto in the Conti semis.
Yeah.
And I'm down and I get 3 takedowns in like 30 seconds and beat him in OT. So it was
damn, dude.
And I know, and I'm like shooting doubles, and to like the people around me, that's like crazy stuff when Caden's like firing off lots of shots.
Yeah, right.
Beat Torin Vandenbush, but then so I took third on the water, but then going into regionals, I didn't win a single high school tournament. I took second at every single one.
Wow.
Which was brutal.
No kidding.
That was new.
Okay. Yep.
Going in.
Okay.
Every single one. I lost until postseason.
Okay.
I took second at every. Yeah.
So you're taking second now. I mean, are you finding a pattern of something that was it just like, just kind of, I slipped up, or it was just mistakes, or was there something that you were noticing about yourself because of that? I mean, it just seems like you're nailing it going through the most of the season. And then just those tournaments were the only Achilles heel. How did you notice something about yourself that was happening, or?
I don't even like looking back at it now. I just feel like it was just like really little things. I mean, they're all within takedown matches.
Sure.
And they're just like little things, not being aggressive enough.
Okay.
Not pushing the pace enough.
Yeah.
Just like stuff like that.
Okay.
But those little things I was losing matches of, which, it is what it is now, but it bothers me. I don't want to lose close matches like that.
Yeah, all within your control. Just things that maybe just missed or whatever in the match. So I mean, things obviously you can get a grasp of to get a hold of into the postseason. So we're coming into this postseason, right? Now you guys don't have conference, but regionals. Where do you guys have regionals at?
We had regionals at Green Bay West, which was a pretty solid regional.
Okay.
I thought so. It was pretty well run.
Yeah.
And we had like Pulaski, Bayport.
Yep.
Some good teams in there.
Okay.
So I ended up winning regionals.
Yep.
I only had one match. I'm going to say this. I've had the shortest amount of matches to make it to the state tournament. And you're going to hear why.
I believe it.
Going into the state tournament, going into regionals, I wrestled one match.
What?
I had a first round bye because I was the one.
Yeah.
Some kid medically forfeited to me.
Oh boy.
And then I wrestled Chase Woosencraft and I beat him for my one match that regional day.
Yeah.
So then I won my first high school tournament regionals, which was fine, relieving.
Yeah, for sure.
Went into sectionals, had a tough draw, I would say, because I had Kyler Tritz. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yep.
He's from Rapids.
Yep.
Pretty good. And he lost his regional final. And that's not really who I wanted on my side, just because look at him, state ranked.
Yep.
Had some close matches with some good dudes.
Yep.
And so I have win first round by Tech, major Kyler Tritz, and then go into sectional final. And the kid who forfeited to me last week medically forfeits to me in the finals from Bayport, Aiden Bruckner.
Yep.
I was just like, I wasn't complaining, but that is really interesting strategy.
Yeah, it's kind of, to me, it's kind of bullshit kind of thing, but whatever. You don't know the situation that they have, but so medical forfeit to me, especially now at your guys' level, and because you didn't see it a ton with kids. Sometimes you did, but it was because of the parent. But you guys get to make a lot of your choices as far as what's going on in your sports, So a lot of times, sometimes they're like, oh, well, we're going to make it, we're going. So why risk, if you did have an injury, why risk it? So sometimes it sounds silly, but sometimes if you sit down and you're kind of like, oh man, if I was hurt, I'd probably do the same thing and just kind of get ready for state and make sure that I'm healthy, kind of thing. But there are some of those calls that you see out there that you're like, really, dude? Like, really?
But that was one of them. It was like, we're in the sectional finals, man, and you're going to medically forfeit to me? That is, I can't even comprehend. I mean, I know he was hurt. He was having some injuries.
Yeah.
But it's still senior year.
Yep.
I think it was his junior, any sectional final. I'm going.
Yeah. Why even question it? Yeah, for sure.
So short, like how many won? Like 4 matches going in to make it to state. and now I made it there for the second time.
Yeah. So round 2 of state for you. I didn't look at your bracket. I didn't take a look at a ton out there just because it was kind of my first year to be able to like be there for a competitor.
Yeah.
We took Liam the year before and a couple years before that, but then we went to team state last year too. So it was a little different. I was a little more kind of figuring out what he had going on kind of thing. We knew the route, but what did your bracket look like? Who was on your side when you first started? Were you 1 seed, 2 seed? What were you seeded?
So I pulled the 2.
Okay.
Which was like everyone had kind of beaten each other in that bracket.
Yep.
Except me, because we don't really wrestle like Akana, Nicolay, Brookfield Central, and then Riddle, who was on the top. They've just kind of all beaten each other. I mean, except no one beat Riddle.
They were right.
But so then I pulled the 2, and I liked my path that I had.
Yep.
I was pretty hyped about it. I was watching the reveal show, which I thought was cool this year.
Yep, for sure.
And so first round, I pulled the Nina kid that Jude wrestled a few times, Eli Gast.
Yes, Gast. Yep, good kid. No, Eli too. Yep.
Yeah, nice. He's pretty strong. So I wrestled him, beat him 10-2.
Okay.
And then I had this dude from Badger who I've never really heard of.
Okay.
Pretty solid dude as well.
Yep.
Beat him 10-2, and then I made it to the semi. So this is my first time making podium. So that match that made me really hyped.
Totally.
Because it's like finally.
Yeah.
I have finally made the podium at state. It's been 4 years in the making.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you're going into semis, and that was crazy. Semifinals are like a undifferent feel.
Yeah, completely.
And I've been at some huge tournaments in semis, Fargo, but like wrestling in the Kohl Center is just like, it is literally a crazy feel.
So let's talk about that in a second, because I think that has a lot to do with especially like finals matches and stuff. So who was your semifinal match?
Semifinal match, I had Ben Ott from Nicolay.
Ooh, okay, another tough one. So how did that
tough one?
How'd that match go for you though? I mean, that wasn't just a walking in. I got this one handled. Unless you thought you had it handled. Is that the mentality you go in with matches? I got this.
I mean, I'm going in like I'm gonna win.
Yep.
Obviously,
okay.
That's how I'm thinking. I'm gonna win. Yep. But I mean, he wrestled. he's a long, lanky, strong dude.
Yep.
And he had a lefty leg lead, which was a little weird for me.
Sure.
At this time.
Yep.
I don't wrestle with a lot of people like that. So I think first period ended 0-0.
Yep.
I think I got a stall call in there. Quick escapes, and we go into OT. So that OT in the semis, dude, it is like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we're going into it is like all the you can hear all the cheering.
Yep.
Which maybe is for me. I mean, when I'm down there, I'm thinking it's for me, so I'm using it.
Yep, why not? Hell yeah. So when you're going through that, you got all that roaring, you're in the overtime. You're going into overtime, you go over to your corner probably quick. What are your coaches telling you? What was something that all you got to do is this. You just got to get this. What were your coaches telling you?
They were just telling me, they're like, Caden, it's your time, man. You got to go.
Yeah.
So then we're wrestling. And, we're like back to like the ties and stuff.
Yep.
And then we break up, and then he hits me with the double out of bounds.
Okay.
And the boos, man, we're rolling. It was like we're out, but then like we rolled back in and they called it out.
Yep.
And which I think it was out after watching it, but
yeah,
the boos were rolling because you had all the Nicolay fans. We were on like the mat too.
Yep.
So we were like right in the corner. All the fans were booing at me. Horrible call.
Yeah.
Horrible call. You've all the Nicolay coaches, and we're at like 20 seconds left.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I am not going into double rideouts right now.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this. So I took a low single, which is probably like, I don't know, the second time I shot a low single this year.
Yeah. Well.
And then we just get in this like insane scramble, and it ends out with me getting a takedown in like this weird position where I have his leg took and the leg in. He has my leg over him, but he's on his back.
Yeah.
They call two with like 0.5 seconds left. So I freak out, dude. That's where all my photos come from.
Yeah.
It's just like an insane celebration all in front of the Nicolay fans. So you just hear, because it was like an interesting too. So you just hear all the boos and you hear cheering from my mom. She's celebrating, but she's like literally right next to the dude's family. So they're booing me. And it was crazy. I was like the first person Shawano has sent to the finals in like 13, 14 years. So it was pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
I just opened my phone. I have all these text messages. Oh my goodness, dude, crazy match. WY Wrestle posts me and tag me in it.
Yeah.
The comment section keep blowing up, and it's just crazy. It was fun.
So for those listening that you think that these kids don't pay attention to that stuff, they pay attention. They watch what's going on. So it's good. I mean, that's exciting. So I mean, that sets you up for the finals, man. I mean, that's exciting. You overtime win like that. Your adrenaline's got to be flowing just as much. I mean, obviously, what is it that I think finals are the next day, right? So you got finals the next day. So you get time to kind of get to go relax a little bit. You guys have to weigh in for finals day?
Yeah, you have to weigh in, but it's like we're at +5 from scratch now.
That's right. Yeah.
So
you're whatever.
It's not even weighing in at that point.
Yeah, you're just showing up. So finals day. It's your first time in the finals. First time a lot of these guys, even have someone in the finals from Shawano. What are you guys kind of doing the night before? Are you guys talking about anything wrestling wise? Or are you guys on chill? Are you guys on relax mode, not thinking about nothing, just kind of letting your body just relax and get ready for tomorrow?
We were talking about it, but it was mostly just like at the end, it was just all wrestling all day. So
yeah, we
just took a nice little break at the end, went out to eat because it is +5 from scratch. So
yeah.
And then, finals is late. So I weighed in at 9. And then I just left the Kohl Center and went and chilled in my hotel.
God, yeah, you guys didn't wrestle till 5 or 6 or something like that. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
maybe later.
Yeah, it was late, and I kind of find wrestling tournaments to be draining, mentally, especially when you're there watching some big matches. It's kind of draining. So
sure,
I just thought I'd sit in my hotel.
Yeah,
kind of chill. I watched some of his matches, but and then we got there, and it's like another unreal feeling. It's crazy.
So we talked a little bit. We talked about the feels. Like you're getting the boos, and you could hear the people cheering, and because it's different. I think I was talking to Steve Scardo about a little bit when we talked today that you guys go to these national tournaments, and they're big venues. There's no doubt it's a big venue. Preseason nationals, you're in a like Coliseum kind of setting, whatever it is. So, but at those places, you have parents on the floor, you have coaches, you have all the athletes, all that stuff. Everybody's just down there. State's different. All those fans, all those people are up in the stands. It's just you coaches and referees that are down on the floor, and people taking pictures. So you're kind of segregated while all this is going up on top, right? All that sound's coming down, all that. So what are your feelings going into the finals match? You got people watch, you guys do the walk, the announcement, all that stuff. What are your thoughts as you're warming up behind the table, getting ready to go to the finals?
Honestly, I just didn't feel that nervous because I just took it all in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta be happy in the moment that you're in.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought. I haven't done a lot of other tournaments, but I'm like, this is literally my last high school wrestling match.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take it all in.
Nice.
So I went out there, looked up, smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
Get my practice in.
Yep.
I wrestled a match with my coach beforehand.
Okay. So
I felt ready. And then I honestly took it all in. I thought the march was awesome.
Yeah.
Just like looking at all the people.
Yeah.
And then it was like ready to war. You're standing out there for a little bit as they're introducing.
Yep.
So just like I'm all smiles.
Yeah.
And then I honestly went out there. And it wasn't the result that I wanted, of course.
Sure.
I got handed, which I will say that it wasn't what I was expecting.
Sure.
I thought I left a little bit on the mat, but at the end of the day, I was happy with my result. Not satisfied, but I was happy with where I got.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see the progression. From where you came from to that point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the end result. I mean, of course, like you said, it's not what you wanted, but at the end of the day, it's pretty damn good, man. It's a good high school career, even with the bumps in the road with COVID and all that other stuff. But so you ended your high school career, I would say, on a high note. There's nothing wrong with it. And so now you had, in that process, you were kind of talking to colleges, right?
Yep, talking to colleges. Honestly, I think like outside the wrestling world, people expect you, like even going into my senior year, just a state qualifier. And like when you say you wrestle all year round, they just expect like that, like they're just money is rolling in, and Penn States and Iowas are rolling in.
Yep.
When honestly, that is not the reality at all.
Nope.
I'm sure he'll reach there. I'm sure he's probably already reached there. People are like, so like Penn State contact you or something? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, were you getting, I mean, because there's more than just those guys, because Liam had the reality check of kind of when we went down to Super 32, he walked around and saw North Carolina, and because otherwise we were Iowa, because we were just Iowa fans. But it opened his eyes a little bit, and I made him realize, it's like, you don't have to pick. There's a ton of colleges out there. There's NAIA.
So many.
There's Division III. There's Division II, and there are a lot of kids that are at Division III that could crush a Division I guy. So you got to open your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
So were you getting? I mean, were you getting any info or any kind of reach out from any kind of the schools that maybe you're like, oh yeah, that okay, kind of paying attention a little more to what's going on out there for you?
I started getting looks probably like junior year.
Okay.
And I started getting contacted. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like state D3 schools. So I went and looked at those and everything.
Yep.
I went and looked at Oshkosh, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I liked Coach E before he left.
Yep.
And then I liked Point. I took a look at like La Crosse and a few of these other schools, Eau Claire.
Yep.
And and I was thinking I was probably going to go to one of those.
Yep.
Because I wasn't getting that many looks.
Sure.
A few like D2s have talked to me, but then, I mean, Liam will get there eventually. Like you're talking to someone, and eventually just like the relationship just stops randomly. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I guess I won't go look, but
yeah.
And then I filled out an online questionnaire of my school that I now committed to.
Yep.
Southwest Minnesota State.
Yep.
And they call me the next day. They're like, "What's up, dude? I saw you filled out our questionnaire.
Yeah.
Want to learn a little bit more about you." I'm like, "Oh my God." And I'm like,
that's cool.
I just went on like NCSA and all the D2s around the area, because that's been my goal, to get a scholarship and wrestle D2 or 1. Just filled out all the D2s in the area. So all the NICA schools, they all just got contacted. They all got questionnaires filled out by me.
Yeah, why not?
And they're one of the only ones that reached back.
Yep.
Took a visit, and I liked it. It was D2, tough conference.
Yep.
I like the coach, Chase Jackson.
Okay.
He's pretty new to head coach, and I liked what they were doing there. So then I committed there.
Good.
And it was pretty cool.
Well, good for you, man. I mean, like I said, there's a lot to offer with those schools. Because first and foremost, we talked to Liam about this, education. They got to have what you want to go to school for.
Yeah.
And some kids, maybe they didn't know, so they just saw, oh, I like this here at this, this one. So it is what it is. As long as it is something that makes you guys happy, that's the biggest thing, because it's 4 years, maybe 5. So you got to be happy with your decision. And things happen where you might, something might change, or a dynamic of something changes. That stuff happens. But it's good that you guys, and your dad has been through it. So, I mean, your support system's pretty good. So he knew, like, hey, let's just fill out some paperwork. We'll get it out there. Because not every school, and I can attest to it, because even when I was in high school, not every school has coaches that are vying for them, that are putting stuff out there, to college coaches. So some of them just don't have the context or the means to do it. So it is what it is. But you had the wherewithal to put that out there yourself, put yourself out there, and that's important. So I think that's really good that you had a goal on that as well, doing that to find something, and you got it. You got something that you're happy with, and that's awesome. So with that being said, you kind of ended your season on a high note, and you got your goals set, or your sights set on college now. What kind of, think you're going to be growing a little bit more, getting bigger going into college? You think you're going to maintain where you're at right now?
So right now, I mean, I'm trying to get as big as I can get, but I always feel like people will look at me and they're like, "Caden, you are the smallest 170 pounder in the world." And I'm like, I lift weights hard. Yeah. I wrestle a lot, but I'll put on some size.
Yeah.
I'll probably grow a little more, but I think I'm probably I'm at my peak height. Sure. I think probably stay around the same weight.
Just get stronger.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like
for sure.
What happens when you go to get put in that college room, you get a little stronger, put some size to you. But
right on.
I mean, next year, right now, the plans go 65.
Okay, cool.
Next year, yeah.
We're watching, man. We're watching. Well, dude, you're the longest high school guy I've had on here. Just so you know. So high five.
I'm honored.
High five. Good job. 56 minutes. We're gonna be gotta add stuff like that. But I want to get out of your hair, because I actually have some more guests coming. But I appreciate you coming on, man. And it has been actually really fun talking to you, because you know how to tell stories, and that's kind of good. And we want to know about you, and you told us all about you. And I wish you nothing but the best luck going on into college. Have fun the rest of the year. Live it up. If you get a chance, hey, if you want to work out, let Liam know. Come down, work out, do all kinds of stuff, man.
You better be up at Askren. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking for partners, man.
He was just there today. So we're definitely going to be there. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Caden Young, everybody. Shawano, 170 pounder. Appreciate it, dude. You've been good.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem, man. Yeah, we'll see you later, dude. Have a good one. All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.